Christian, I know your first two projects have been on really tight urban infill sites. Was that a factor in why those two projects selected modular? And what are some of the factors that'll tip the scale towards modular for sites like this? Is it the neighbors? Is it the planning commission? Is it the developer? Is it cost? What's in that equation for urban infill sites in particular?
Great question, and that's definitely right. The first two projects, Mod 42 and Alvera, particularly Alvera, were extremely tight, urban, downtown sites, and modular, definitely helps in those situations. In addition to the cost and time savings, quality consistency, our construction methodology lends itself quite well to urban infill sites where you may not have adequate storage for staging different materials. And, because our modules are coming in, one by one and then being craned into place, we don't need nearly as much staging material for, bunks of lumber and panels or whatever might be using staging area in a conventional project. And so that is definitely a factor. And also, helps with, gaining support from, the neighborhood and other stakeholders, because it's not only is it a condensed construction schedule, and so you're dealing with construction for a shorter duration, it's also fewer truck trips and therefore traffic and fewer workers on site, so less parking being taken up by construction and congestion. And the other factor that's really important is the sustainability. With modular, we're reducing construction waste considerably, both in the plant and on site, and with reduced truck trips and construction workers on site, we're reducing emissions, and so there's a lot of benefits to the neighborhood stakeholders in the project. And one of our projects, first one, Mod 42, we actually won support from the neighbors for that exact reason. Been helpful in terms of getting support for the project, whether it's from the neighborhood or a planning commission. We found it to be a benefit to the entitlement process.
Christian, there'll be some people watching this that really aren't familiar with a set event on a site. How many of these modules can you set in one day? What's the range? And so for let's say a 100 unit building, how many days are you actually going to take before that building has risen from the foundation all the way up to completion?
Sure. So simple answer is about 10. In some cases, we can stack a couple more. In some cases, less. It depends on where the project site is and the logistics and the hours in which we're allowed to transport and crane. But roughly 10. And so if it were a 100-unit building that comprised of 100 modular units, we could do that in 10 days or 2 weeks, assuming we're working 5-day weeks and not 6. So it is really fast from going from podium to a completely erected structure.
And it sounds like that means that the workers who are working on site are pretty much in a closed-in building from the very beginning when the modulars start to be developed.
Yeah, absolutely. During setting, obviously, those doing the structural connections, and seaming the weather barrier are outside, but it's a very quick period of time, and then all the trades coming in to do the MEP connections and work inside the building are within a weather tight building.